Politics in South Africa has always contained layers of hidden conflict, but the events around Brown Mogotsi's testimony suggest something far more complex than a simple case of a witness lying. When you break down what happened, step by step, the pattern begins to resemble a blowback operation, a situation where someone was set up to fail publicly. To understand why, we need to examine not just what Mogotsi said, but why his actions don't align with normal motivations. So let's start with the biggest headline. Mogotsi openly admitted to fabricating WhatsApp messages that linked Police Minister Senzo to alleged cartel boss Vosloorus, Cat Matlala. On the surface, that looks self-damaging and irrational. Most people who forge evidence either deny it, or only confess when they are completely trapped. Mogotsi, however, volunteered this admission in open testimony. That's our first indicator that something deeper may be happening. A confession that harms the person confessing usually points to one of two possibilities. Either they panicked and lost control of the story, or they were put in a position where confessing was actually less dangerous than maintaining the lie. This is where the blowback angle becomes important. If a confession protects someone from bigger consequences, it suggests that Mogotsi might have been carrying out someone else's agenda, and abandoned it once he realized he was exposed. The next piece of the puzzle is his behavior before and after the testimony. Days before appearing at the Justice College, Mogotsi claimed he survived an assassination attempt in Vosloorus, 8 bullets fired into his vehicle. Now, whether you fully believe the details or not, what matters here is his reaction. He did not report the shooting. He disappeared. SAPS said they could not reach him at all. That is not the behavior of a man rushing to clear his name. It is the behavior of someone who has become afraid, either of the shooter, or of the people he was working with. If Mogotsi had willingly fabricated evidence on behalf of powerful figures, then any sign that he was no longer useful, or no longer obedient, could have put him in danger. This helps explain why he might choose to confess publicly. In that context, confession becomes a kind of shield. By exposing the setup, he makes it harder for others to quietly discard him. In other words, revealing the lie may have been his way of saying, if I go down, I'm not going down alone. The next clue lies in the content of his allegations. His testimony didn't just target one person. He mentioned police generals. He mentioned intelligence agencies. He mentioned the Zulu royal house. And he spoke about supposed CIA involvement. Usually, when someone lies, their story is either simple or clearly self-serving. In Mogotsi's case, the allegations spread across multiple powerful institutions. That makes it less likely that he invented everything on his own, and more likely that he was being fed information. This pattern, one witness, many high-risk targets, matches a scenario where Mogotsi was used as a delivery mechanism. A way to launch damaging claims into the public record, while the true authors of those claims stayed in the shadows. And then, at the critical moment, his credibility collapses. Once he admits to fabricating some evidence, everything else he says becomes easier to dismiss. It no longer matters which parts are true and which parts are false. To the public, it all blends into noise. And noise is the perfect cover for anyone who wanted this story buried. The final detail that adds weight to this interpretation is his claim about former Ambassador Nathan Mthethwa. Mogotsi said Mthethwa was preparing to testify about supposed CIA links before his sudden death in Paris. Whether that claim is accurate or not, the timing is significant. Mogotsi linked his story to someone who was no longer alive to confirm or deny it. Again, this makes it look like he was repeating a narrative handed to him, rather than building one from scratch. So when we put all these pieces together, the self-destructive confession, the disappearance after gunfire, the wide reach of his allegations, and the conveniently unverifiable intelligence claims, a logical picture begins to emerge. The central issue may not be whether Mogotsi lied. The central issue may be whether someone needed him to be discredited at the exact moment he delivered those allegations. This is the essence of blowback. A witness who was set up to fail. Used to release a dangerous story, and then sacrificed to make that story easier to ignore. In the end, we are left with one haunting question. Did Mogotsi create chaos, or was chaos created through Mogotsi?